there are these cool experiments. I know you wanted to move on, but like
No, that's fine.
There are these amazing experiments on ostracism. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but the idea was that human beings have a very, getting left out of a social group is one of the worst feelings that you can have if it's your group. So there were these researchers who wanted to study social ostracism. And so they brought people into the lab, and the way that they started manipulating this feeling was by telling them that we're just gonna play a game with 3 people. You're gonna toss the ball back and forth. Now, 2 of the people were actually secretly working with the researcher. And at first they would start throwing the ball to each other, like all 3. And then after a while, just the 2 of them started passing the ball back and forth and completely leaving the other person out. It turns out this feels terrible. Like, people hate this feeling so much so that I don't think I could do one of these studies.
I'm surprised that passed ethical board.
Well, I know. I mean, remember, we could shock people. So that's that. Well, they moved it to a computer game, and they call it cyberball. And so you could have people play with each other still on the computer, just a little computer game, like imagine Pong, but through passing it. And they realized they didn't need other people, right? They could just program it in and tell people there are these 2 other people who are playing. And after a while, the computer is doing the passing just right. People still feel just as bad. Well, what's crazy is that they finally tried it by just telling people, it's just a computer. There's nobody actually there. And apparently they feel just as bad. Even when it's the computer that starts excluding them and they know it's the computer, they can't help but feel terrible about it, right? And that is the most stripped down experimental setup. So you're right, you don't need ChatGPT. But what I think might happen with ChatGPT is if the robot is insisting, like whatever the guy at Google was talking to, whether it was like an early form of BARD or whatever, that led him to believe that it had, or at least to doubt whether or not it might have achieved sentience. Once they start jumping up and down and telling me, no, please stop, you're hurting me, don't turn me off, like promise me you're not going to turn me off. I think that people might not just be tricked at the low level, like cyberball, but they might actually start arguing on behalf of those robots.